Teneycke here, back with another video, and today I'm with Cuquis. And sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
Oh, sorry, it's Robledo.
Cuquis Robledo. Awesome. And so, I have some questions for you. So, how old were you when you went to your first LPA conference?
Oh man, I was actually, like, compared to all my friends, I was 18 when I went to my first LPA conference.
Nice. Where was that LPA?
It was in San Diego, 2014. And so, that was technically the first time I went to a conference, but I was only there for like maybe the last 2 days of it. It was kind of my first, stepping stone, getting my feet into the water type of thing. But Boston was the first time that I actually stayed from like the beginning and a longer extended time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, has LPA changed the way you looked at being a little person?
Yeah, I think LPA, it's made me find friends who are like pretty similar to me. And I remembered when I went to my first like holiday party back in Houston with my chapter, I was having trouble kind of fitting in, and I wasn't sure if maybe it was this for me. But then when I came to LPA and I saw a bigger group of people, that actually really changed my perspective, and then it got me out of my comfort zone and got me to even meet more people, learn to socialize even more. And no, it's overall been a pretty good experience in terms of making friends and finding people who you really can connect with.
Awesome. What do you do for a job?
For a job, so actually, I used to work for a disability nonprofit called Disability Rights Washington, and I worked for this project called Rooted in Rights, where we made advocacy videos advocating for people with disabilities, and I used to train people with disabilities how to make these videos, as well as I hosted, edited, directed, and wrote like the script and the content for some of the videos. But that was for 3.5 years, and then a few weeks ago I actually left Rooted in Rights because I'm going to be going to graduate school at Elon University to study interactive media.
Awesome. So have you ever noticed, have struggles of losing jobs to, say, average height people because of being a little person?
Being a little person? So Rooted in Rights was, I think, my first, big job, and I think I was lucky in that since it's a disability nonprofit, they really can't discriminate. Yeah. But even so, what I have noticed too is that people who worked at the organization, everyone at some point has had issues with mental health, and those obviously, people try to at my work accommodate for mental health, but then there's some people who I felt didn't necessarily respect that in terms of the workload, or in terms of management style too. So and in terms of, for me personally, being a little person, I have not yet experienced that. Probably maybe once I graduate from graduate school, I'll probably run into that too, because I'll be going away from kind of the disability nonprofit sector, and who knows? It's kind of the unknown, and I don't know what to expect, but I think it's just honestly knowing the work that you do is really good, knowing that you have all the credentials, and just being confident going into it. I'm hoping that people will see past my size.
How do you work within the LPA organization, spread awareness and spread joy to newcomers?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm actually the public relations director of Little People of America, and part of my role is one of the things that we have been doing recently that Mike Pepinelli, our president, wanted to try out at the beginning of the year, is these monthly videos called State of the Organization videos, or SOTO, as we like to condense it to be a little bit shorter. And they're basically monthly videos produced by one member of the board, and they get to film their own content, and I edit it. And it's basically just trying to give more transparency to the board, to give people a sense of, what's going on with the board, what kind of work are we doing, and then also with Dwarfism Awareness Month, we want to try, or at least I want to try to create a bigger campaign, because last year we did a video, but we didn't get enough participants actually to participate, and so I'm hoping that this year we can promote Dwarf Pride, Dwarf Empowerment, do like a greater campaign in the month of October. And then in terms of for newcomers, just basically a couple days ago, I, as part of the board, will it's good and important to talk to new people, talk to new families. So just going to like as many of the workshops, like the meet and greet workshops, is important. So I went to like the newcomers reception, and I talked to a mom from Canada. Part is that as board members, we go to as many of the meet and greet workshops. So like I went to the newcomers reception, and I went to the SEDC workshop, obviously, and it's really good because, you know, and even though I've only been with LPA for 4 years, it's nice to like be able to talk and give the knowledge that I've learned to, you know, parents and people with different types of dwarfism. And you know, it's just basically kind of getting yourself out there and not necessarily sticking with like the same group of people you always hang out with. It's just making sure to be conscientious and branching out and talking to other people.
Awesome. So I'm an editing fanatic. When you mentioned about editing, what software do you use?
Okay, so I used to work with Final Cut Pro, but then when I worked with Rooted in Rights, I started learning how to use Premiere, Adobe Premiere. That, oh my gosh, it was like, it's so complicated, but it's what the professionals use. And then slowly I got more comfortable with it, I got better at it, and then I learned, I don't know if you've heard of Adobe After Effects.
Yep.
So that's the animation part of it, and that's, you thought Premiere was, if you thought Premiere was complicated, God, After Effects is so complicated.
Yeah.
But it's cool because you can actually sync both of the programs. So if you make an animation but you want to put it into your video project on Premiere, you can, there's a way that when you like make a certain video, you can like sync it up with After Effects as long as both softwares and both programs are open. And it's pretty cool. Like the state of the organization videos, I use Adobe Premiere for like the main video component to like edit it, and then to make it, you know, more dynamic and fun, give it personality, I then go on After Effects and make some of the graphic animations.
Awesome. Yeah, I use Photoshop for my thumbnails, and then I use Premiere and After Effects for my editing.
Yeah, Rooted in Rights, we used Photoshop for all of our thumbnails too.
Nice.
Yeah.
So one of my other questions was, what type of dwarfism do you have?
So I have SEMD, so Spondyloepiphyseal Dysplasia, and I guess if you look at it a little bit more specific, it's like the anoxic dysplasia type. So I was diagnosed back in 2005, so I was I think about 10 years old. I was about 10 years old, and I actually was not diagnosed in the US. I was diagnosed in Belgium.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and the reason was, you know, it's weird that, you know, you would think that in the US, you know, prime geneticists, you have, you know, great credentials, but they just couldn't figure out what I had. And because we flew, you know, to LA and where all the big guys are, but my mom, so basically we flew to LA to go out and talk to the big guys, but you know, it was weird that they couldn't diagnose me. It was, I guess, the type of dwarfism I had at the time was rarer. And then my mom actually did a lot of research, she being a pediatrician, and then she found 2 potential geneticists in Europe, one in Finland, one in Belgium, and she said, Cookies, choose which country you want to go to. So I basically chose on blind faith. I'm like, let's go to Belgium, you know, why not? And so, because the guy in Belgium, she had found these articles that the x-rays that he had been studying with some of his patients, or a couple of his patients, looked very similar to the x-rays that I had, in terms of like just kind of the bone, and especially the bones in my fingers, like they call bones in my fingers like like bullets, just kind of the way that they're formed. And so we went to Belgium, and he actually ended up being the fellow of one of the top renowned geneticists in LA, and he just, did the blood work, and then within maybe a couple weeks, he gave us a call, and he said, oh yeah, this is what she has. Bam. So 10 years without a diagnosis, and then we had to travel halfway across the world to do that.
Awesome.
But it made good for a good traveling experience. Belgium's beautiful, beautiful country.
Yeah, it is. I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, you should. You love it. They have really good Belgian chocolates. I actually like them better than like Swiss chocolates.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So, I do like silly questions as well.
Yeah.
So, if there was a doctor that had a pill that could make you average height, would you take it or would you stay as a little person?
I would not take it. I'd probably stay as a little person, and mainly because, yeah, it is harder to be a little person. Like, I know there are days that I do wish that I am average height. I mean, I'm sure everyone has that thought, and that there are bad days that I have, but I don't think I really would be, I don't know, me, and like maybe have the impact that I had on like certain people, or have gone to meet like amazing, cool people, either average height or within the LPA community. So and I think it's also helped me be a very open-minded person.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, my name's already unique as it is, so then why not make the size unique as well?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, have you had any surgeries due to your SEDC?
Yeah, so in 2000, so I was actually diagnosed with I was diagnosed when I was 8 years old with scoliosis. And we weren't really prepared for that. We had always been talking about potentially limb lengthening surgery, and then suddenly we found out I had scoliosis. So in 2007, the scoliosis was really bad. It was like 100 degrees. And so I went, and this is another example of how we had to travel halfway across the world to get my surgery. We went to Paris, France.
Oh, wow.
Because the spine surgeons in the US, like the best ones were in Boston, but the type of rods that they were going to, people in Boston that I was going to potentially have surgery with, the rods that they were providing were going to go on my ribs, and there was a 75% chance that they would break, and I did not want that. So in the end, my mom, again, did her research. She found this engineer, who used to study aerospace engineer, but he designed this special growing rod where it doesn't go on the ribs, it just goes on one side of the spine, and it has this chamber in the back that all you have to do is, once you're closed up, there's this big magnet that comes with it, like a block, and you just put your hand, or my mom's hand, like over my back. She puts the magnet right, by the hand, and she turns the magnet, and you'll hear this clicking sound, and then that's the chamber, like making the rod grow. So my spine could still continue growing, and I wouldn't have to have any fusion. I wouldn't have to have a surgery every 3 to 6 months to expand the rod. It was all one surgery, and then just kept growing, and then the rod became disconnected, and so then I just went back and replaced it with a static rod in 2010. But I did have a complication from the first surgery. I was almost paralyzed in the surgery in the OR because they had overstretched the spinal cord. Because I'm really loosey-goosey. My joints are really lax, so they were able to completely, so think about it, 100-degree curve, straighten it to practically 0 degrees, and they overstretched it. So they ended up having to work with it to get the feeling back in my legs. So they got it, thank goodness, but I had to relearn how to walk for the whole year. And then in 2012, I had limb lengthening surgery in West Palm Beach, and so I gained 4.5 inches in height, and I chose that. That was a volunteer choice on my part. I was 16, and it was not an easy decision because at the time we were thinking about it. I was 10, and I was like, I don't want to have this. I'm not ready. I'm okay.
Yeah.
But then I realized that I wanted to, I guess, feel better about myself, but also I wanted to be able to drive. And I mean, I think I wasn't looking into hand hand controls yet. I wanted to actually do the pedal extensions like everyone else, so I wanted to just get a little more height to be able to help with that. But and then also, I wanted to be independent before I went to college, and I think the extra height was gonna help me reach things if I was on my own in a dorm.
Yeah.
And like just the toilet door, the like counter or something, and being able to just see over the counter, I think ended up making a really big difference. And so like while I know some people think it's more cosmetic reasons, there's so much
More to it.
more to it. It's so much more behind it.
Awesome. So my last question is another silly question. What is your favorite food and what's your favorite place to get it? Or who is your favorite person to make it?
Oh man. Oh boy, this is hard. Favorite food. Gosh. Well, my mom makes really good arroz con pollo, which is chicken and rice. So I'm Cuban, and that's a big staple in Cuban cuisine. It is just simple. It's just like you cook white rice, put some saffron in it, and then you just cook. Use a little bit of white wine, and then maybe some ham, and then you boil chicken with it, and it's just super simple, but it's delicious. And my mom makes it like the best. It's
Moms
awesome.
are always the best cook.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for doing this interview.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited, very honored to be part of your vlog. And I mean, I've been watching you, kind of fangirling, like, oh, Caden, this is so cool. I need to be on your show, and well, Caden here was on my little Soto video too, as well. So he got to be my co-host, which was awesome.
Well, thank you so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, Cookie.
Thank you.